Imagine yourself as a soldier on a battlefield. You are given indisputable evidence that enemy combatants have set up a rocket system in a kindergarten, and you are tasked with destroying the enemy's offensive capabilities. The kindergarten is full of children. What would you do? While Israel is often accused of violating International Humanitarian Law, IHL, it actually goes to extreme measures to abide by it. IHL, otherwise known as Laws of Armed Conflict, seeks to limit the excesses of warfare to protect persons who are not participating or no longer participate in the hostilities. To accomplish this goal, IHL determines 4 core principles. The principle of distinction requires parties to armed conflicts to distinguish at all times between the civilian population and combatants and between civilian and military objects. Operations should be directed only at combatants. The principle of proportionality prohibits attacks which are excessive in relation to the expected military advantage and could cause loss of civilian life, injury, or damage to civilian objects. The principle of precaution states that all feasible precautions must be taken to avoid and minimize accidental injury or loss of civilian life and damage to civilian objects. The IDF consistently acts to minimize the threat to civilian life as much as possible. The IDF collects precise data before beginning any operation and targets military strongholds exclusively. On the other hand, Hamas, the organized terror group which controls the Gaza Strip, systematically fires rockets indiscriminately at civilian targets in Israel. The IDF provides warning of their attacks to Gazans and attempts to ensure that non-combatants leave the area, a difficult feat as Hamas hides their weapons in hospitals and schools amongst the most vulnerable of civilians. The principle of military necessity permits the use of force or means necessary to achieve a legitimate military objective while minimizing harm to civilians and protected objects during armed conflicts. It requires that parties involved in the conflict only use the minimum level of force required to accomplish a specific military objective, ensuring that any collateral damage to civilians and civilian objects is proportionate and unavoidable. The principle of military necessity seeks to strike a balance between achieving military goals and safeguarding the humanitarian interests of non-combatants and civilian infrastructure during times of war or armed conflict.